Jocelyn Rafael back with another video featuring my dog Sophia. And this is my mom, Annette, also aka foster mom. Don't we look alike? Anyway, so today's video is about foster care and it's Q&A. A lot of people have sent me questions and I'm here to answer them, and she has a list right here to read them off and I'm going to answer. So yeah, questions, go ahead.
All right, Miss Jocelyn, how long have you been in foster care?
So the first time I went through the CPS system was when I was 8 years old, and I don't really remember how long I was in foster care then, but I ended up going back. And then when I turned 16, months went by, and then December of 2019 I got removed from my old home and I got put into the foster care system, and now it's August, so I've been in foster care now for about 8 months.
All right.
I'm so cool.
How many homes have you lived in while being in foster care?
So in foster care, I've lived in 3 separate homes. The first home I lived in was about 6 months with my old foster mom, which was actually my biological half-sister, Nicole. She's a great person. And then stuff had happened, nothing to hurt me. I'm a troubled teenager. No, but I lived with somebody in North Omaha for one day/night, and she was a good lady, but the next day I got removed and now I am living here with my biological mom.
When friends or family found out about you moving in foster care, were they supportive or did you get hate?
A lot of my biological family, they were really happy about it because they knew my situation. They knew my old adoptive family and they knew I hated life at the time. A lot of friends were supportive, but I had people saying like how they wish they were in foster care, how I need to snitch on their parents and get them into the system. But the thing is, it made me really upset, and I blocked those people because, you know, it's not something like, to me, I don't feel good about just being in foster care 24/7. Like, I don't know, that's just how I am. I didn't like how people would be, oh, you're so lucky, like, you get all this and all, you get all that. It's like, no, you're kind of treated like a little fragile, like, baby. Like, of course you're going to be treated a certain way because, like, you know, you grow up a certain way and you're treated all these different types of ways, and now you're in the system and you're like a little fragile little baby.
All right, when you got put into foster care, how did you feel?
At first I felt pretty, like, depressed. I kind of felt abandoned, like, because it's like people adopt you because they want you as a child. They want to be your parent figures and take care of you. And, well, just getting, like, it's a huge adjustment. Like, living my first 6 months with my first foster home, I was not used to it, and I'm still not used to being in foster care, and it's almost been a year, and I don't know, I felt really alone. I felt really lost. I just felt like I couldn't be me. I felt like my entire life changed, which it did, because, you know, you're moving from somewhere that you grew up for 16 years of your life, and then here you are, like, living with new people and you don't know how they are, and, like, it's just weird how you're so used to being neglected or mistreated, abused, raped, sexually assaulted. You're all used to these things, and now that you're in a positive environment, it's a huge adjustment because I'm so used to negativity, and then when I'm around positivity now, I'm just kind of like, is this normal? Like, is it normal? Like, but now that, like, I'm learning and healing from it, I'm beginning to recognize, like, oh, that's bad and this is good. So I could say I felt pretty abandoned. I wanted to, like, I was pretty suicidal at first because I just felt like nobody wanted me. I just felt like I felt like a rock thrown into a window. In that window, no, I felt like the window, like, you know, got shattered. All right, next question.
How has foster care affected your mental health from the beginning to now?
Well, before I got put into like foster care, I was pretty suicidal. I was pretty depressed. Like I was always anxious, and I always had like this trauma inside me. When I got put into foster care, I felt like it got a little bit worse because it was just like, now it's just like, okay, I don't have parents. Like, and I was struggling because most of my dad has passed away, and that's the time I really needed my dad. That's the time I really needed my mom, because I had a good relationship with my dad. Like I was best friends with my dad, and like my mom and I at the time weren't proud. Like we were on good terms. We never really talked, and like that was the time I was like, okay, like I have no one to turn to. I didn't have many friends to go to. Like, and if I did, it was just weird, because I'm used to being the one who's helping everybody else. And now that I'm in therapy, I'm on all these medications. Like I'll tell you, like taking medication every day, it's not something that I ever wanted to do, but like it's kind of like something I guess I do, like I will say I do need, because it's just like you have all these emotions and stuff. So at first I felt pretty like I just did not want to be around life. I just want to go away. But now I'm just more like, okay, this is life. Like, I'm getting better. Yeah.
What did you dislike the most in foster care?
What I dislike the most in foster care is so I'm a state ward. It's different for different foster kids, whether you're a state ward or not. But I'm a state ward, meaning like I belong to the state. Like the state is my guardian. I hate what I wouldn't necessarily say I hate, but I dislike the most about foster care is being a state ward. You gotta ask if you can leave the state, which I completely understand, but it's just like sometimes like I like to go on drives, whether I just drive to Iowa and come back. Like it just kind of sucks because I can't go do my long drives or just go drive out and go see my family who live in LA or like whatever. So that's something I don't like.
What is helpful during your time in the system and what isn't?
What helpful is, I am 17, we all have our own, like, I know I have a voice, and I have stood up using my voice, so I notice if something's wrong, I literally put my foot down and I'm like, yo, we need to talk about this, it needs to get done. If not, I'm gonna keep badgering you about it. Like I'm gonna keep badgering and bothering you until it gets done, because I'm the type of person that just like, if I want something done or it needs to be done, it needs to be done. Like I'm not gonna sit here and wait and like be this little depressed kid. No, I'm full is I know I have a voice, I use it and they listen. And what isn't helpful is like, I don't really know what's not helpful. Like I have open communication with my guardian ad litem or my CASA people or my caseworker. Like I have open communication. So it's very helpful that I have the communication with these people who are a big part of my life at the moment, not forever. But there's not really anything I really dislike or that's not helpful. It's just mainly being a state ward and not being able to do most things.
Did you bond with any other foster kids? Why or why not?
So as I stated before, my first foster home was with my biological sister, Nicole, and she has 2 sons, Sebastian and Theodore, and they weren't foster kids, but technically they were my foster brothers or whatever. So they're technically my nephews, and I got to bond with them, I was beginning to get close with them and stuff. But I wouldn't necessarily say I was like fully bonded, because I wasn't attached. Like if I was gone for a week and like I didn't contact them, I'd still be wondering how they're doing, but like I'm not attached enough being like, oh my gosh, like I gotta call them. In my second home, there was this girl my age. She's been living in that home for however long, not my business. I was there for one day, one night, and we talked a little, but we weren't close. But in this home, I have bonded with my foster dog. We are best friends. She is my daughter, and I cannot go anywhere without her. And she's teething, so I'm putting her down. Yeah.
Would you be a foster parent?
Yes, definitely. There's 5 kids I would foster, and they're my nieces and nephews from my old adopted family. I had a strong bond with them. I've known them since I was 8 years old, like, because the age difference is like 12 to whatever, and it's just like I was close to those kids, so if I was able to foster them, I would. And I'm not saying I wouldn't foster any other people. I'm more like, if I know this person, I would love to foster them, because if I know them, I know how they work. Now, if I didn't know them, it would be more of a struggle, but like, I'm not saying I wouldn't. I definitely would, but I would prefer to foster kids or teenagers that I know, and I know how they work and everything.
Okay. Who is the first person you wanted to be your foster parent?
Well, I automatically thought of my dad. When they asked me who do I want to live with, I looked at them straight in the eye and I was like, well, my dad's dead. My mom lives in Texas. And I did think of my old martial arts instructor, Rob. He's always been a dad figure to me. Like, he was really close to me. And, you know, I didn't want to ask him because it was just kind of like, would that be awkward? So I never asked him. So, like, I was sitting there for 5 minutes, maybe 10, and I was like, who do I ask? Like, I can't ask my dad. I'm not going to ask my mom. She lives in Texas. I don't want to ask Rob because I don't know. I just kind of felt weird about it. And then after a few minutes, I was like, oh, Nicole! Like, yeah. So, that took me a while, but yeah.
Has your opinion of the system changed?
Yes, greatly. Before I got put in, like, when I found out I was going to be in foster care again, I was like, great. I'm just going to get sent back, because when I was 8 years old, I stated I was in the foster care system, and I ended up going back to my old parents. And, you know, I never had faith in the system, so when I needed help, I never wanted to run for help, because I knew I would just end up going back and back and back, and it would just be a whole, like, mess. And then now that I'm 8 months into foster care and I haven't gone back, no contact or anything, my opinion has changed greatly, because I've noticed, like, if you use your voice, if you stand up for yourself, they will listen to you. Like, I am that person. If you know me, I will stand up for what's right, because I'm a brutally honest person, and I cannot keep my mouth shut. We all know, like, if you know me, I cannot keep my mouth shut. Like, I cannot lie. I'd be laughing my butt off. I'd be smiling. No.
Okay. What are the 3 top positives of being in foster care?
I'm out of my old home. I'm not struggling as much as I used to. I have more people I could go to if something's wrong. I got my dog. This is my dog. I love her so much. She's teething, so she's gonna bite me everywhere. And, you know, I've got to experience a couple homes, and my relationship with my mom has gotten a lot stronger. And, you know, don't give me that look. Ugh. Who is she?
Okay, what would you change if you could?
Being a state ward. Like, I'm happy that, like, the state is my guardian. But the only thing I'd change about being a state ward is just, like, I want to be able to leave the state and go do my drives, or, like, go to Mall of America, like, just visit friends that are out of state. It'd be so much fun. I don't know. I'm just the type of person, I really love adventures, and it's really hard to go do my adventures when I have to ask to leave the state. And it's just, I lost interest. Like, I don't care. Like, let me do me. I want to be a teenager, you know?
Okay, what does it feel like knowing you're a state ward?
At first it kind of felt like, wow, like, am I just like one of those people who are gonna get thrown away? I don't know, if I think about it, it's kind of like, why? Like, why? Like, it just feels weird. I could really say, like, I'm happy about it, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, I kind of feel like alone, like, not alone, but like kind of abandoned just by parent figures, you know, like, because you don't have those parent figures. Like, obviously I have my mom, but the parent figures you grew up with aren't like those parents they should have been. So it kind of just makes you feel like they didn't care about you.
Do you miss anything about your prior life in foster care?
The only thing I miss is just going on my adventures, really. Like, I don't know. Like, now that I'm in foster care, I can hang out with my friends more. Because my friends never really liked coming to my house prior before foster care because the parents at the time would argue or throw things, and they would just scare my friends away. And my friends just never want to be around me because they thought I was that sick. But I don't really miss anything except for my adventures. That's really it.
How has foster care affected your life?
It's a big impact on my life, honestly. You know, kids who are in foster care, like, they tend to feel certain ways. You tend to get more feelings, and, you know, it's a big chapter in my life, especially when I'm gonna be in it till I'm 19, or if I get adopted. Hopefully I get adopted. Not by you. By God. No. I hope my dog adopts me, like in that one movie. But yeah.
Okay.
But it has affected my life greatly, and I wouldn't change it.
What emotions have you learned?
I have learned all the emotions. I grew up being neglected and many other things, and I started neglecting my feelings because I thought it was normal to neglect everything. So yes, I was very depressed, and I will say that. But after a while, you become I don't like using the word like numb or broken, but I became very numb because I would neglect all my feelings. And what was the question again?
What emotions have you learned?
And so I would neglect my feelings, so I didn't know what happiness was. I didn't really know what sadness was. I didn't understand any feelings. But after I got put into foster care and I got therapy, I really started to understand what it's like to feel happy, what it's like to feel sad, what it's like to feel neglected, and all these other feelings. It's just now I'm beginning to realize what these emotions and these feelings are and how it impacts your physical health and everything.
What changes have you experienced?
Homes. My old adoptive home, it was very negative and all these things, and these other homes I lived in were very positive, very supporting. And I know there are foster homes that are very negative too, but the ones that I have experienced were very eventful, very positive. There might be fights now and then, but that's life. So a lot of things have changed, my adjustment. I'm still not used to being in foster care, as I stated. I'm still not used to living with my mom. I'm not used to having these close relationship with my friends or my family or anyone. So it's a huge change in everything.
Do you feel at home?
So I'm not to hurt your feelings. I personally, when I see a person, I know what it feels like to feel at home. But in a place, in a home, a house or where you're living, I don't necessarily want to say I feel at home because I don't know what that feeling is because I grew up a certain way and I never felt at home. So the thing is, I don't know if I feel at home because it's I'm still adjusting, and I'll say to my friends, oh yeah, I'm gonna go home. But to me, it's just does it feel at home? I'm just gonna say, I don't know if I feel at home. I don't know how to express, or I don't know, personally, I don't understand what home feels like. I understand it with a person, with my mom, my dad, a boyfriend, but with a building, I'm just kind of I don't know.
What do foster kids need the most?
What I believe foster kids need the most is love. With me, I will say I need love, a little bit of attention, not a lot, because I'm gonna want my personal space. I want communication. Where I grew up, I did not feel loved. I've never felt loved. I never got that communication. I've always been neglected, and I want food and clothes. Like, that's funny, but like where I grew up, I got a job at 15, so I had money to put in my savings and money to buy myself food, buy myself milk, like buy myself clothes, because my old parents would be like, oh, the milk is for this, like don't use it. Like every time I'd eat something, it's just like, you're not supposed to eat that. Or like if I needed new clothes, it's kind of like, well, you have a job, go get it. It's like, but you're my parents, you're supposed to support me. I shouldn't have to be a 15-year-old now becoming a 16-year-old. When I was 16, I had to get 2 jobs, so I had money in my savings, and I had money to pay my phone bill, car gas, clothes, or food, like, or all my wants and needs. Like, I just needed to support myself. So with my foster parent is, get in here. Gosh. With my foster parent, I want love. I want a little bit of attention. Do not hug me. No, just kidding.
That's love.
Oh my God, what? I don't know what that is. But I do want love. I want communication. I want you to get me food. I want you to get me clothes, because like I shouldn't have to, like, I'm 17 now. Of course I have a job. Of course I'm gonna want my wants and like my needs, but I want you to be able to get my needs. My wants, I don't expect you to get my wants, because if I want something, I buy it. Like, that's different. So, yeah.
What challenges do you face?
I face a lot of challenges, especially with mental health. It's kind of like you're battling certain things to process your life and everything. There's challenges I face arguing with my foster mom, my biological mom, because if something doesn't go a certain way, I'm just like, what the heck, like I turn into like a full out like teenager. Like I'm very adult, like I know I can be, but like I'm just so used to like getting what I want, because like I supported myself. So like I will admit, if she doesn't do something I like or want, I will be like, what the heck? Like, we'll get into an argument, but like, and then I'll process it and be like, you know what, that wasn't right of me, I'm sorry, like I shouldn't act that way. And I'm healing, I'm working on it. So like those are like challenges I'm facing, is like to not expect things from people. Like, yes, I should expect love, communication, but like I don't want to expect people to give me my wants or my needs, except for her. Like, only my needs. The only wants I expect is for people to give me is just like love, attention, communication. But I don't want attention 24/7. My wants, if I want like some candy, which I don't really eat, or like some gum, or like some fruit, if I want it, I'll get it. But like if I ask her, she'd be like, yes, okay. But like if she says no, like at first when she says no, I'm like, excuse me. But no, I don't really face many challenges.
What do you expect from your foster parents?
Love, communication, and a little bit of attention, and my personal space. That was it for today's video. Probably like 20 questions, I don't know. But like, comment, subscribe. I don't really care if you don't do any of those. But if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and put those down in the comment box below. Always answering, because I have nothing to do with my life. But thank you, Mom, aka Annette, for answering the question, asking the questions. And you want to do the catchphrase with me?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Forget y'all.